Volkswagen Polo GTI more agile than Golf GTI, plus exclusive images. Volkswagen is promising a sharper and more agile driving experience from the new 197 bhp and 147 mph Polo GTI, compared with the more matured driving manners of the Golf GTI. The Polo GTI is shorter, lighter and better to drive, said Volkswagen's small car line director, Ralf Kölling. The Golf has performance more oriented to the highway, the Polo GTI is more agile for a really good drive. The shorter wheelbase than the Golf gives the Polo that extra feeling of agility. Volkswagen testing 300 bhp Polo R prototypes. Kölling and his team have been working on the Polo GTI for 3.5 years, helped by the green light from Volkswagen high-ups just 6 months after work began on the latest Polo. We decided early in the project that we wanted a GTI version of the Polo, and that has helped with having space under the bonnet for the bigger engine, said Kölling. Power for the new Polo GTI comes from a 2.0-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder unit with peak output of 197 bhp and 236 pounds-foot. The previous Polo GTI made 190 bhp from a 1.8-liter 4-cylinder unit. Peak torque is developed with a flat curve between 1,500 revolutions per minute and 6,000 revolutions per minute, and is understood to deliver a solid surge of performance in the mid-range. A 6-speed DSG dual-clutch automatic gearbox will be standard at launch, with a 6-speed manual becoming an option in 2018. It was a really hard decision between the DSG and manual, but the market is deciding and performance models are trending to DSG, said Kölling. Top speed is a claimed 147 mph and 0 to 62 mph in 6.7 seconds, very similar to the previous generation Polo GTI. Bigger brake rotors -312 mm diameter at the front and 270 mm at the rear, boost stopping power compared with the standard Polo. The basis for the new Polo GTI is a much stiffer 5-door body based off VW's ubiquitous MQB platform and with a torsional rigidity of 18 kN, deg. The old Polo rated 14 kN, deg, 28% less. The Polo GTI also features electromechanical steering and an XDS differential lock, which uses the traction control system to limit wheel spin. Other chassis refinements include standard sport suspension with a 15 mm reduced ride height, stiffer solid front and rear anti-roll bars of 21 mm diameter, and uprated springs and dampers. The front spring rates are 31% stiffer and the rear's 24% higher, while the dampers feature 2 selectable settings, normal and sport, under Volkswagen's Sport Select banner. Volkswagen UK is still finalizing the final spec of its Polo GTIs ahead of December's on-sale date, so it is unclear yet whether the Sport Select will be an option or standard. But previous experience with other models, such as the Golf GTI, suggests it will be a cost option. Similarly, UK cars are expected to have 17-in alloys with 215/45 tires as standard, with 18-inch wheels with 215/40 Michelin Pilot tires, on our pictured car, as an option. Prices have yet to be announced, but are likely to be below £20,000 and competitive with the new Ford Fiesta Street, which will go on sale in early 2018. Some Polo GTI options are likely to be bundled into a performance pack. First Polo GTI deliveries are expected in May 2018. Related stories. Volkswagen Golf R review. Volkswagen Polo review. Volkswagen Up review. To be honest, 200 PS is fine for today's roads in Britain, and now it's bigger at around £20,000. It'll be taking sales off just about everything. Only downside, perhaps a little dull for some, but I prefer to call it a wolf in sheep clothing. Very nice overall, restrained style suits my tastes. A Honda Civic is the opposite, and I wouldn't be seen dead in one, for example. But, I hope that OTT red trim inside can be toned down. Touchscreen also seems to have proper buttons at the side as backup or alternatives, which is good. Touchscreens need too much dexterity when you're driving. At least the buttons avoid the swearing in a higher car. Citroen C3 I had recently. Never seen such a ridiculous place to put the on/off switch, and didn't find it until the morning after. Very nice overall, restrained style suits my tastes. A Honda Civic is the opposite, and I wouldn't be seen dead in one, for example. But, I hope that OTT red trim inside can be toned down. Touchscreen also seems to have proper buttons at the side as backup or alternatives, which is good. Touchscreens need too much dexterity when you're driving. At least the buttons avoid the swearing in a higher car. Citroen C3 I had recently. Never seen such a ridiculous place to put the on/off switch, and didn't find it until the morning after. Very nice overall, restrained style suits my tastes. A Honda Civic is the opposite, and I wouldn't be seen dead in one, for example. But, I hope that OTT red trim inside can be toned down. Touchscreen also seems to have proper buttons at the side as backup or alternatives, which is good. Touchscreens need too much dexterity when you're driving. At least the buttons avoid the swearing in a higher car. Citroen C3 I had recently. Never seen such a ridiculous place to put the on/off switch, and didn't find it until the morning after. That is a fugly car. It reminds me of an older person trying to be a bit hip and with some fancy glasses or something. The interior is naff, clearly an attempt to inject style, losing the VW understated quality look in the process. VAG continuing to suck. How much money will be too much and heavy will be too heavy? If you thought Porsche held the Cayman back for fear of upsetting the hierarchy, then this looks to have trumped that. Just as BMW cannot have the M2 quicker round a circuit than the M3/4, so VW launches this neutered Polo GTI. Come on marketing guys, create a second trim level, strip lots of goodies out, harden it up, let it loose and charge a chunk of money more. The journalists will say, but you can get the Golf GTI for less money and it's bigger and more grown up, etc., etc., and the lemmings will continue to buy the Golf GTI and the enthusiasts will have their elixir. Alas, it's not going to happen, is it? With this new car being 5-door only, I won't be swapping my current car for the new model. Shame, because if the new Polo GTI is anything like the current one, it'll be ace.